Hello and welcome to Chadify. In this video, we'll be analyzing the facial attractiveness of three individuals and presenting theoretical simulations and strategies for self-improvement, all based on aesthetic principles we believe enhance perceived attractiveness. This is a private service by default. No one appears in our videos unless they've explicitly chosen to. Confidentiality is the default for every client at Chadify.me. If you want to read a quick disclaimer, here it is. We will be employing a mathematical rating criteria that we developed, which goes over 99 facial attributes, which vary in many regards. Think of this as a multi-dimensional matrix that we have to solve, with many right and wrong answers for each attribute due to things like dimorphism, phenotype, symmetry, and other features like neoteny, adiposity, etc. Face number 1, 100 kilograms at 170 centimeters or 5'7". Here's a side profile of his face, a smiling shot with very white teeth, love him. Inside shot, smiling, side profile. So face number 1 is definitely a relatively strong match of the Mediterranean phenotype. And this is because he's Moroccan. And Moroccans are a blend of the Mediterranean ethnicities as well as the Ethiopian ethnicities. Now someone's gonna look at this and be like, what? Ethiopia, why? Well, it's because of the North African admixture that Moroccans have. After all, they're technically from Africa. And you can see how we're morphing from the Ethiopian phenotype all the way to the Mediterranean one. Kind of matches both to some degree, but even more when it's blended. That's the key, guys. So this is the North African estimation. Obviously, it's an estimation because we would have to compile hundreds of faces from Morocco to get a better representation than this. But it's definitely helpful, and you can definitely see some resemblance between face number 1 and the Chad estimation of a Moroccan face. And we do this so that we can tailor our service to the individual. Best features in order of importance, face number 1, let's get into it. First of all, he has an absolutely excellent smile. His teeth are extremely white. I don't know if he got veneers. It works for his facial appearance. Secondly, his dark, thick eyebrows and eyelashes. Some people like to say in masculine men that having long lashes is a feminizing trait. This is completely incorrect information, as they are health markers. It's neither masculine nor feminine. Thirdly, he has minimal upper eyelid exposure. It just looks amazing in his case. And he has very compact eye orbitals. I get from the front smiling shot here, maybe you don't think that they look that compact. Keep in mind, he's looking up at the camera in this photo, whereas these ones are a bit more ideal in terms of their photographic representation. And so you can really see here that that contour is pressed in, and that really suits a more masculine face. Fourth, he has a highly squinted eye ratio, which suits his dimorphism, again another hint that he's masculine, with a 4 width to 1 height. And his average mandibular projection without his beard, so that actually wouldn't be a good feature within its own right. But take a look at when his beard is considered. It literally exceeds his nasion. So that's his pagonian. So his pagonian exceeds his nasion in terms of projection when you factor in the beard, which he does have. And he's definitely going to keep it. And as a result, this gives that more masculine forward growth look that's ideal. He's a forward grown maxilla, also tying into forward growth. And he has overall decent mid-face compactness of a 0.97 length to 1 width. So this is a bit on the higher compact area, but I think it really does work for him. So facial flaws in order of importance. Face number 1, let's get into it. First of all, he does have some hyoid fat and sag, and I get that in these photos, it doesn't show too much. There was a couple other photos that I chose to omit, and you could see a bit more, but it's very minimal. It's still a flaw in his case because I think for him to improve, a lot is gonna come down to facial leanness and fitness. Secondly, the beard does help to cover this, and is quite minimal anyways, as we were saying. He has a slightly high hairline. I think it could be lowered a little bit more and it would look a lot better. Thirdly, his average body fat percentage. It's currently higher than ideal, and this kind of ties into the first thing there. They're disconnected sometimes, but in his case, they're likely very much correlated. Fourthly, his slightly small eye size, with 125% of one eye with the part in the middle section. Ideally, you'd want this a bit closer to 100%. With a more masculine face, you can sometimes get away with this. Additionally, he's bordering on negative canthal tilt. and he has close set eyebrows. Face number 1 has a beard which is not trapezoidal enough, and in his case this would be so incredible to have. And that's it. So let's guess face number 1's rating, guys. We got our pretty boy blend masculinity dimorphism scale here. Boom, 6 out of 10 from the blend masculinity perspective, peaking from the more masculine zone at about a 7 out of 10. So this indicates that for his phenotype especially, he's quite attractive. He's above average, no doubt. And he has much more of a masculine face than a prettier one because he scores way lower from that prettier or softer dimorphism perspective. So Looksmaxxing advice for face number 1, let's get into it. Let's tailor this to his needs. First of all, grooming. I mean, for face number 1, we must square off his chin, his gonian, and trim the hair above his vermilion border of his lips slightly more. He's already doing a decent job with that. He has it squared off in the top region. It's just that lower neck region also, which needs to be rid of. Secondly, fitness. His target weight, in my opinion, is 80 to 90 kilograms lean. It might even be lower than that, in all honesty. He mentioned to me that he was previously shredded, so he definitely has good potential for a rebound. And that's important for all you guys that are down or worried that you're not going to get back in shape. If you've already done it once, you can do it again. Tracking calories and cutting 250 to 500 daily is key, and lifting weights to preserve muscle whilst doing this is absolutely paramount. Using an upper-lower split is the best for time management, in my opinion, especially when running businesses and doing different things like that, like entrepreneurship. You want to keep your schedule in the gym very compact but effective. So going even to full body in some cases, so we're talking 2 or 3 times a week, but hitting, squatting, pressing, pulling, rowing, all these different very important compound movements each time will allow you to make progress with limited time. Moving on, hairstyle and hairline lowering. Like we said before, the current fade and hairstyle honestly work well. I typically don't say this for people that often, but when you're masculine, this kind of hairstyle is not a problem at all. In fact, it suits people. But a hairline lowering or transplant could enhance his appearance. So time to Chadify face number 1. Let's take him up to the 8+ level of attractiveness. With infinite budget comes infinite possibilities. Boom. And you're seeing those changes. The beard and the hairline is pretty much the entire deal for this guy, and it really does make him look amazing. We're excited to announce the launch of the newly updated Chadify.me. We focus on providing people with the ultimate experience tailored to individual physical self-improvement needs. The essential package here includes a full facial analysis. We've expanded from analyzing just over 50 facial attributes to now covering more than 99. The level of detail in our reports has effectively doubled to closer reflect the true complexity of the human face. Additionally, you'll now find dedicated pages explaining dimorphic analysis and phenotypic analysis, offering clear insights instead of brief summaries. Moving on, we have the advanced package, which includes everything in the essential package with the addition of a personalized Looksmaxxing strategy. This includes a tailored improvement plan to your needs, facial subcategory suggestions, whether it's the jaw, mid-face, or the eyes, and guidance on both natural and professional methods, as well as a breakdown on high impact versus low impact tactics. What is the highest ROI? The ultimate package offers everything in the advanced package plus our signature chatification experience. This includes one chatified edit with the option to purchase more, a before and after chatification morph, and a before and after dimorphism graph animation. This is our most in-depth and valuable package, boasting the most reviews, and is ideal for anyone looking to fully commit to their transformation journey. It includes everything. Additionally, we now include a dedicated progress-focused page because we believe that this isn't a one-time service, it is an investment to your long-term transformation. If you've had an analysis done before, it's always helpful to see where you stand now and how far you've come. Every package also includes a free 9-page portrait guide, helping you take flattering, high-quality photos for your analysis, as taking photos is ever more important in such a digitalized society. This has been one of our most requested additions, and it's finally here for everyone. Many clients have shared that while they value this entire analysis, they prefer to not receive a numerical rating. That feedback has been heard, and the face rating portion of this is now completely optional. When placing your order, simply choose whether to include it or not, and the report will remain just as detailed in every other aspect. Be sure to check out our mission page. It features engaging, interactive tools that showcase our research. One highlight, in my opinion, is the spinning globe, which illustrates the primary migratory paths humans took as they spread across the planet during prehistory. Don't forget to give it a spin. So here we go. We see a zoomed in version of his front view chatification as well as a side profile, as he got that as well. Honestly, the side profile, subtle yet incredible differences. This is like really attractive in terms of his side profile. Just amazing. On to our next face, guys. Face number 2, age 43, 180 pounds at 6'2". He definitely looks a little bit older than the previous face. Here's a smiling shot, some sort of moving angular shot, a little bit blurry, and then a side profile. So face number 2 is definitely a mix. At first glance, before got the phenotypic information, I would have estimated that he was more or less Italian, something like that, or even maybe anywhere from the Dinaric Alps, kind of in that region, but there's definitely some admixture of the Andid phenotype of South America. And it's not that prominent, but is there. And I think it partly attributes to his complexion and potentially a bit of a longer mid-face, but we'll get into that later. So the Dinarid phenotype is the main phenotype for face number 2 in terms of his physical morphological appearance. And so if we do the morph video here, we can get a great representation of where approximately we believe personally at Chadify face number 2's face resides. And here it is. Here's his phenotype mix estimation, being that he's mostly European with some South American admixture. And you can really tell that sure, he looks a lot different, but there is some resemblance here, and this is good to go off of going forward. Best features in order of importance, face number 2, let's get into it. So he's dark, thick eyebrows and eyelashes. They're almost overpowering, but I think it does work to some degree in his case. He has short eye-eyebrow distance, like it's very short. He has thick, luscious hair and an impressive hairline at age 43. If you see my short on hair loss, definitely check it out. Fourth, he has a good chin profile with a mentolabial angle of 120 degrees. The lower this angle, the more the chin is projecting outward. And so that connects into having a pronounced chin. And additionally, is facially lean with low body fat percentage. Face number 2 is a tan skin tone, as we mentioned earlier, and he has a prominent brow ridge and a high forehead inclination angle of 45 degrees. On to the flaws. Face number 2 in order of importance. First of all, he's a very long mid-face. Like, this is incredibly long at 1.16 length to 1 width. Ideally, that would be around 1 to 1. Maybe 1.05 or 1.08 to 1 in very masculine faces. Additionally, face number 2 has a thin mid-face of 1.5 to 1, partly attributed to this long mid-face. And he has just a long face overall of 1.5 length to 1 width. Everything is just long. He's thin lips with low projection, so ultimately his lips just don't project far enough out from the side profile. They're thin and they lack projection. If we take the Ricketts E line, the Steiner S line, he's not meeting or matching where he should be far enough, and that is a severe issue in his case. Face number 2 has a high nasolabial angle, which is again partly related to his lip projection, because you would look at his nose and think it's a little bit hooked. So why would this happen? Well, when you have a lack of lip projection, this angle can actually get higher. Face number 2 is a slightly long philtrum with a 2 to 1 chin to philtrum length. It's interesting because his chin is well developed. It's not that his chin is short. Face number 2 is a round occipital bone, and he has signs of aging. Definitely estimated to be at least 40. I'd say he looks decent for his age though, maybe even slightly younger, but not that much younger. And finally, he has droopy upper eyelid shape. This happens a lot when you get a bit older. So there are other attributes like high facial convexity. He does have high forward inclination, which I think is a good thing, but technically some people might deem as an issue. The thing here is that a lot of these actually indirectly benefit facial harmony, meaning that they could be deemed to an untrained eye or an untrained facial analysis individual sort of incorrect, but in his case, they're somewhat attractive, benefiting certain conditions. All right, so guess face number 2's rating, guys. Let's get into it. We got our scale here. Boom. 5 out of 10. A pretty good score for someone that's in their 40s. I think he's very good looking for his age. He's a lot of improvement that can be made, of course, but he's already doing quite a bit already correct. I actually know a guy that looks kind of similar to him who also would score at least a 5, and this guy actually is in his mid-50s. It's possible to look incredible at an older age if you do the right things. And Looksmaxxing for your lifetime is key. Alright, so Looksmaxxing advice tailored to someone who is more dimorphically masculine. Shorter hair will benefit him given this. And you're going to see that for his chatification. Fitness. I sometimes stray away from the words like ectomorphic because small frame, big frame, whatever, you can still gain muscle, but I would say that he is very small framed in a way, despite being tall. So that's a bit of an estimation. But I would say that at 6'2" and 180 pounds and you're above 40, you can definitely make immense progress still in the gym. This would likely be his second most important thing going forward. He already has a decent neck, mostly from the front. The side's a little thinner, so certain neck extension related activities could be very much beneficial for him. And his outer gonian region, because that indirectly gets carryover from training your neck. Due to having an incredibly long mid-face and thin lips, lip filler, lip flip, lip lift. All of these things would benefit face number 2. And then finally, teeth whitening, getting crest white strips will be critical, especially as you get older. Your teeth get more of that toothy sorta old look, and sometimes they get yellowed. Fixing this up would be optimal. Time to chatify face number 2. Let's take him up to the A+ level of attractiveness. Boom. We're seeing that this guy, despite being a bit on the older side, has a ton of potential going forward. Here's a zoomed in chatification. You're going to see that the shorter hair variant, he looks like an absolute Chad at age 43. Unbelievable. Face number 3, guys, he's 35, 164 pounds at 5'6". Here's this side view of his face, and here's a smiling shot. The quality is kind of bad. The thing about face number 3 is he's definitely slightly related to the Coed phenotype. Now, this is common for South Africans to some extent, and there's certain tribes that are still left intact completely with no mixing. But in this case, face number 3, common of that Southern African individual who has some Khoi or San admixture in their DNA, but is mostly Bantuid. A lot of the time it's hard to see this without some genetic or nationality background history visually when people are mixed. So you can see here as we transition through our morph of the 2 different phenotypes, that phenotype mix is likely mostly Bantu with some Khoi resemblance in there. And this will serve as a decent framework going forward for facial analysis. Best features in order of importance, let's get into it. First of all, he's excellent lip size. I mean, there's no denying that the projection from the side here is absolutely incredible. For African individuals in general, whichever area in Africa practically, having lip projection which surpasses the Ricketts E line and all the other lines by a high margin is actually very much attractive and ideal. Secondly, he has a wider nose which proportionately suits his phenotype as well. His nose width is 1 to 3.1 of his bizygomatic width. In European individuals or other individuals around the world, you might see 4 to 1, but in this case 3 actually suits him more. And furthermore, his nose is 1.2 length to 1 width. If you divide this, you can get the nasal index and it will be relatively high. Face number 3 has straight teeth. He has slightly positive eyebrow tilt, 8 degrees in the left eye, 4 in the right. He has tight hyoid skin, and he has an ideal cervicomental angle of 99 degrees. He's an ideal low submandibular contour angle of 17 degrees. This is really good. And he has ideal eye spacing with an ES ratio of 0.48. This is better for his phenotype. Like, this actually suits his phenotypic morphology better than, say, 0.44 or 0.45. Every phenotype, every ethnicity in the world has different expressions of their phenotypic morphological traits, of their morphological phenotypic attributes of the face, and that should be celebrated because that's a great thing. Diversity is amazing, and we need to recognize that so that we can tailor our analysis to serve everybody from the world in a better, more accurate way. Additionally, he's high neoteny for his age, but this is a bit of a double-edged sword. So onto his facial flaws in order of importance. Let's get into it. He's rounder features than ideal, and the problem with this is that having a prettier appearance doesn't really suit him that well. well. He's a rounded off hairline that contributes to this. He has a slightly rounded off jaw from the front view. It's not trapezoidal enough, and he has a slightly rounded off eye shape. 3 things working against him. Furthermore, he's a flat chin with a lack of curvature. His mental labial angle is 146 degrees, much higher than our earlier face with 120 degrees. Face number 3 has moderate eye-eyebrow distance. We get some leeway here for his phenotype mix, but it's not quite in that optimal region. He's a slightly steep mandibular plane angle of 23 degrees, meaning there's a bit too much downward growth. And he has some minor fine line development. Despite having some neoteny and smoothness to his face, his skin texture is a little bit wrinkled. A lot of people with coy admixture will have wrinkles. It could be partly due to this, but I doubt it's entirely due to this. So let's guess face number 3's rating. From a facial attractiveness perspective, face number 3 scores a 6 out of 10, peaking from the blend masculinity zone. Despite having high neoteny, he also has some masculine features. There's a lot of conflicting variables here, pushing his rating down considerably in my opinion, despite having good symmetry. So Looksmaxxing advice, I think face number 3 should definitely look into fitness and mastic gum, thickening up his gonian, as well as facial hair and grooming. We need some sort of beard or goatee in his case. Why is this important? Well, we must increase his masculine dimorphism because he doesn't suit a prettier appearance or prettier features. They conflict with his natural baseline appearance. So time to Chadify. Let's take face number 3 up to his fully tapped out facial attractiveness metrics. Boom, and you can see how his curve is shifting in this case, not only to the right, but upwards toward the more masculine zone, now peaking from the more masculine zone in 8 out of 10. It showcases that mainly this is due to the fact that we angularized his entire facial appearance, which serves him incredibly well. As we looked at the zoomed in Chadification, just tremendous effects. He almost looks like Austin Durham a little bit. And then we got a goatee. From the side, you can see that forward growth that we brought it up from being more downward growth. And again, squaring off his features had a tremendous impact on increasing his facial attractiveness specifically, since he didn't really suit the prettier appearance as much. So we got our 3 faces here, and we can see them all Chadified 3 by 3. At Chadify, full privacy and confidentiality is guaranteed. However, if you do want to be in one of these videos to support the channel, feel free to reach out. In a world that often judges in milliseconds, how we present ourselves matters more than ever. Whatever your goal, confidence, health, career, or relationships, Chadify is here to guide your transformation. Because when you invest in yourself, the return pays dividends far beyond the mirror. Becoming your best self isn't just about luck or genetics. It's a decision. Let Chadify be your gateway to a better, more confident future.